The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com, Smashmaster Derby Parts, and Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. The Wadena Grand Slam, August 16th, Wadena County Fairgrounds, Wadena, Minnesota. And the Keystone Nationals, a Bo Lockwood Motorsports production, July 19th at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Brookville, Pennsylvania. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby Podcast, coming to you live trackside of the Keystone Nationals at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Brookville, Pennsylvania. And now your host, Chris Marport. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Crash Course Live. With me trackside here, we've got Josh Decker and Steve Bucknam. Steve with SB Motorsports announcing. Josh Decker is going to be driving a little bit later on, both with me regularly on the Crash Course Podcast, which airs every Monday night on FingerLakes1.tv. Guys, welcome to a very wet and rainy Keystone Nationals, but it has not slowed down the pace with the cars going through the inspection line at all. Lots of good iron here, and looking forward to a lot of fun today.
Definitely going to be a good time here at the Keystone Nationals. We're making the best of things here in Tent City here at the announcer stand. But should be a good show for all around. The drivers are excited. The fans are already getting their seats saved. And we don't have, we've still got several more hours before our 7 o'clock showtime. There
is no question that this is some of the best building that you're going to see. I heard you allude to it earlier as the Super Bowl of Pennsylvania Demolition Derby, and it is living up to all of that. Right now, tonight, you're going to be seeing 4 heats of 16 cars for the limited well division, and then a consolation event, and that's all going to feed into a total of 20 cars once you add the raffle car and the 5,000 to win, 400 to start feature. Plus, there's 20 cars registered for the stock division, and that is where Josh is going to be running his Cadillac tonight. Woo! And Josh, boy, you went through inspection tonight with flying colors, no problems at all. So
I'm not going to lie, they laughed at me the whole time.
They did laugh at you, but, and that's not that new, is it?
No. I have a feeling I'm underbuilt, but not worried about it. It's going to be just a good day to have fun and go out there and smash cars with a lot of good drivers. So looking forward to it.
You got here last night. You had a chance to hang out with Mike DeFia.
Oh, it was awesome. Everybody should get over to his house one day to hang out. It really was like a conveyor system of derby cars over there. I mean, they just had a line of them, and they must have had 20 guys working on cars over there. It was pretty neat.
We've had the opportunity all afternoon here as we got everything set up and tried to protect it from the weather to watch some of these cars moving through line. Some of the guys getting through without too much problem. Dan Trent, however, they had to go to the back of his registration sheet with his list of things to fix compared to Josh and a number of other drivers who were able to make it through the first time in the inspection line, and no changes needed to be made. Another fun one to watch go through inspection was Pete Hansen with the number 14.
Yeah, for sure. Pete went through that inspection line, and he had those metal or steel wheels on there. And definitely turned some heads. And
that was the first Amish-sanctioned derby car I've ever seen.
I don't know if it was an official's call or if it was Pete's decision because of the weather, but we did see you change those out. So
Bo said he would have let him run them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for anybody that's the Men on Wheat Crash, we've all seen that picture of a it's in someone's garage, but it's just a round steel tire and they weld it on.
The lugs.
Plates on it, yeah, and that's what Pete's got. That's what Pete had this morning when we got here.
It's an all-steel skid steer tire is what he's got, and the logic behind that is it's never going to go flat. And right here is a prime example of what separates Pete Hansen from a lot of other people. He sat down there and studied his rules, and he says there is no tire rule here,
right?
And you're allowed the bolt-on covers for bead locks and things like that. So how can a steel wheel be illegal?
Right.
And
he's right.
It's a great point.
And you mentioned Dan Trent too, and we're not saying anything bad about his inspection process.
No, not at all.
He did pretty much what every driver has to do when you're coming to a show to this level. He built where he felt he had to build, and he let the officials draw the line for him.
It was. We joked about it one time. It was Ohio style.
Yeah.
Where you just build how you want, bring torches.
That's right.
But I think at some of these bigger shows, you got to kind of go a little bit up and over because everyone's always fearful of that being underbuilt. And there's a lot of great drivers here, so all these cars are going to be very well built. So I could see a lot of guys going a little bit over the rules and getting ready to cut them, afterwards. But
well, it's just like you said, Josh. When you went through inspection, they kind of laughed at you and you popped right through it. And what do you think? Oh, I feel like I was a little underbuilt.
Definitely.
So, I always my cousin's here, Chuck Bucknam in the 117. He's in Heat 4, and I was actually comforted to see that he had to go make changes. I don't know what his changes were, but
he had to cut his bars were too far on his side bars, so he had an easy fix. But you're right.
Yep.
You're right.
I said, okay, good. He had to go make a change. I guess that's good for him. So,
what's really also neat is here between a heat and a feature, you're allowed unlimited 9-wire. is a rule. So to look at some of these cars, there's things that are done to them, and you're saying, like, what is that for? But then you have to put it together that it's for later on when they decide to 9-wire everything everything
Right, they're planning ahead.
Yeah, Pete's car's got the post with the eyelets already there.
Pete's car is nuts, man. Pete's car is nuts. Pete always is pushing the envelope. Every place you go, he's just pushing it a little bit farther and a little bit farther, and today's no exception.
Well, I heard that this was his Mayhem car, and because
Yes.
it didn't come through, he kind of rebuilt it for Keystone or made the changes.
Yep.
The 18 was a Mayhem car as well, the Bevix car.
I'm calling him as my Cinderella story today. Him and Mad Mike, two Cinderellas.
Before you finish, let me go ahead. There you go. Go ahead. Finish what
New to this channel.
No, Mad Mike's running a pre-run, so I told him I wanted him to win. I mean, he's got it cut out today, but the Bevix car is
the same car he had here last year, isn't it?
is great. Who, Josh?
Mad Mike?
Yeah.
No.
That's the car that Mike just won Trumbull County with. He brought that car here.
Yeah, they just are trying to junk it to get motor and training out of it for another show, but I'm sure that's going to happen. But Pete's car, and DeBevic's car too, DeBevic's car looks fantastic, and I told him already, he's my pick to win it today.
Speaking of picks to win it, I mean, one of the people that I have not seen yet was the X2C car.
Don Santel.
That would be the guy.
I have not seen him
yet.
I just went through the pits, and I didn't see
I
him.
was really hoping to see him run and see what he was going to do with this. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a weather situation or if he's still en route. I mean, it's 4 o'clock. Showtime isn't until 7, but you have to have your car through inspection line by 6.
That's right. Your inspection has to be completed by 6 p.m., or we're not going to let you run. That's what we've said all through the day. Now, obviously, this weather has slowed everybody down a little bit, so I'm not sure what Bo's final decision will be on making adjustments to that. But I guess we'll never know. I can now confirm that we did have a paid entry for the X2C of Don Santel. I'm not sure if we'll see him pull in later or if he just decided to scratch it from his schedule.
Yeah, you're talking about trying to make game time decisions and stuff. I am still on the fence on whether I'm even going to bother screwing around with this in-car camera stuff that we've done with Smashed Empire Films, looking at the track conditions, and I really don't want to be climbing all over the top of the muddy, slippery derby cars. Not because I'm a sissy, Josh Decker, because I don't want to fall off of one of them.
Well, that equipment's expensive to be getting wet.
You don't want to step on anyone's caps.
Yeah.
You talk about people making weather decisions. One of the people I saw in the inspection line on foot was Chris Hill from Canada, who actually runs I believe it's a 392 car, who would have been in Heat 1. I said, hey, what's up? Why are you in inspection without your car? And he said, my car's at home in the driveway. I'm too old to run in the rain. So he looked at the weather, and he didn't look good for him. And actually, I kind of gave him a hard time about that, and I said, come on, they wet the track down. It gets muddy as it is. Well, he said something I didn't even think about. When you cross the border back to Canada, they don't let you carry any of that mud with you because you're carrying, possibly animal refuse and things like that. So if you show up to the border with a muddy derby car, they actually turn you around and tell you have to go wash it off.
What?
Yeah, that's what he told me. So he didn't want to have to go through all that here. He just left it at home, and he came down to see how the show's run.
Well, you got to say for any guys that derby a lot, when I was younger, I'd sit in the rain for 2 days to derby. But the older you get and the more you derby, it's like sometimes the rain really drags you down, and you're wet, you're soaked. Like I'm soaked right now. My jeans are soaked, my everything, right down to my socks. And it kind of takes the fun out of it a little
Justin
bit.
Gilmartin traveled with me, and he's wearing flip-flops.
Yeah, Justin's got sandals on. I
used to be able to see his toes, but I just see a big clump of mud right now where they were.
He was actually excited about it coming down because he was talking about how he was due for some exfoliation.
So people pay good money for that kind of mud bath.
This isn't mud, it's clay.
That's true.
It is real clay.
It's actually pretty high dollar clay. Jefferson County Fairgrounds, they actually they run a truck and tractor pull series here a couple times a year. They do it in June and also during the fair. So they take that pretty seriously, and they spent some good money to bring in the good pulling clay here. And if you see video on YouTube of our track here, or you get the DVD through Smashed Empire Films, you'll actually see that there's more space for the track to be expanded, but we're not able to use that space because the fair doesn't allow us to move onto the paid-for clay, the pulling clay, as they say.
Which is a good decision. A lot of the national sanctioning bodies.
So right here, Steve, is a different clay that's actually on the track?
Yeah.
Oh, I wondered that because it's real slippery, like super slippery here, but not so bad out there.
If it was dry here, you could actually see a color transition in that clay. It's pretty obvious in the
makes
dry.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's so slick right here. Like I couldn't imagine driving on this stuff. No one would move around.
There's a number of those national sanctioning bodies that do that tractor pull stuff that won't allow fairs to have derby events on the clay because the different situations with ruts and parts and stuff like that they just the guys with the high dollar pulling equipment, they don't want to have to put up with it.
You don't want to pop one of those tires, you know, one of the pulling tractors or something, you know. They ain't cheap.
The way to get around that is just run steel wheels with lugs on them.
You know, I understand them having those sanctions because they want to protect their side of the sport. But, you know, I was here on Wednesday for their pulling, and one of their tractors grenaded a clutch.
Yeah.
Right at the line. And there was chunks of clutch buried into the track.
Wow.
So, I mean, they leave parts in the dirt, too. I mean, it can't be that different.
You ever seen the footage of the, I can't think of it, I think it's the Dutch lady? When the motor came apart in that the pulling tractor, where it blew the top half of the block off.
That's
and the
awesome.
Still
That's an awesome.
Did you see that before?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's an awesome video.
I enjoy that immensely.
For sure.
Mad Mike pulling back through inspection line. He's got his red line, man. You know, these red line motors that everyone's talking about down here, they are just snappy. I mean, really nasty motors. I can't wait to hear him screaming out there in that mud.
Redline put together some great pieces. It's in the raffle car. That's the motor in the raffle car, the 73 wagon.
It started life as a 71, 72 Pontiac. It's got a 74.5 Impala front clip on it. It's done pretty good. It's going to be a good, solid feature ride for somebody. Definitely worth the $10 or $20 for the raffle tickets for them.
And it's here.
Yeah, it's here. It's ready to go. And Brent Johnson with Redline Racing Engines, he put that engine together specifically for this raffle car. It was built, broke in, and installed in this car, and that's all it's built for. So
there's you know what's really neat about that? A lot of times when raffle, and it seems like raffle cars are getting a little bit better, but it's cool to see that they changed the clip on it, because as we all know, a Pontiac clip is just no good. I mean, anyone that's ever tried to run them, trust me, Chris, they're junk. And the fact that you have to change them, and the fact that they went and did it, it should make people want to buy it more, because if they're taking the time to put a clip on it, you know they're doing stuff right, because they're taking the time to do the good stuff that you need to do. And that's a car you want to win the raffle. Someone's going to have a hell of a time tonight in that thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you win, you go right to the feature and
right, fresh car,
go to the feature and feature starters get $400.
Right.
So minimum. You're walking home with $400 in your pocket just for winning that car.
Okay, you know how you talked about that on the show? I bet I had five people come here today to say to me, I spent $400 on that. And it's like, well, if everybody spends $400, it's not going to work. It's not going to work out for everybody.
As a group, the fair printed 3,000 raffle tickets.
Oh my!
So if we hope to sell them all, we're not sure we will with this weather, but if we were to sell them all, you have a 1 in 3,000 chance, which is honestly, when you think about it, it's still better odds than a scratch ticket.
Oh hell yeah!
You know, so we're telling you for $10, you have a 1 in 3,000 chance to take home $400 minimum. That's better than a scratch ticket. Go spend your $10.
Here comes David Day in an Edsel.
Yes.
I think a 57 or a 58 Edsel.
It's nice to hear that running a little better. I think with this weather, he had some trouble when he hauled the car here. Something happened when he unloaded it. It wasn't running correctly. And I guess maybe still not running 100% correctly.
But you know, it's tough when it rains so hard on the way here that you could definitely see water getting into places it shouldn't be getting, because you look in your trailer as you're going, and it's just like a monsoon going over the top of your car, you know? So there's water getting into everything. And there's been a bunch of guys down there doing work that on a dry day they wouldn't have had to do.
I think sometimes things just happen on the trailer. I think every one of us as a Derby guy has had something happen. Jeremy Gully last week or 2 weeks ago at the Woodbooger show, the Northeast Championship, he unloaded that car and the transmission just wasn't working for him in that car. Yeah. So, and I mean, I've had a time where I unloaded the car and the carb just started puking fuel out of it. And I think sometimes you maybe bump them the wrong way, or you hit a pothole or something on the way, and things just change.
Think about the amount of vibration going through it.
Yeah, for
Seriously.
sure. Even you have those things tied down real tight, and they're already welded solid. So
it can ruin a fuel pump.
Yes.
Oh, we've seen that happen.
Definitely not. Yes, fuel pumps get burned on if you leave them on all day.
Who knew?
I did know that, but I'm not smart enough to.
You know, it's going to be interesting to see how things work out here today, because we do have the 4 heats, and again, there's going to be a little bit of a roster change with the weather, and we've heard that there's some day of show guys coming too.
Yep.
But roughly, we're going to have 16 car heats. Each of these heats by itself is going to be its own feature in terms of.
Did it stop raining?
Yes.
Don't say that. You're going to jinx it. Basically, each of these heats is going to be its own feature in terms of the quality of drivers that are out there. And there's been a lot of talk about the speculation of who is what number, but it's pretty clear that the 4th heat right now is it's a Super Bowl of its own.
It's going to be a tough one.
It's almost like the feature before the feature.
Yeah.
The
Heat 4 is going to be very tough to get
through. And the
through.
thing is Heat 4 was random draw just like the other 3.
No, that's what's awesome about random draws.
This random draw worked out to be the cool. I mean, you think about it. All the Siopas are in separate heats.
Yes, they are.
I believe both Quenslers are in different heats. Both Myers are in a different heat. So everything really split up. Even all the Massachusetts people. I think there's 4 cars here from Massachusetts. 2 of them got the same heat together. The other 2 are split up. So there's 4 of them. They're split between 3 heats. So I don't think you could get really any more random than the way that it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out quite well. And except for the 1/4 car.
Yes.
Who I neglected to mention what heat he was in, and I also put the camera on you in the studio episode and didn't show what colored chip he had.
Oh, so he had no idea. He's going blind, huh? That's awesome.
We can officially say the quarter car is in heat number 1 here today.
Yes. And it is 1/4 quarter, not 14 or 1/14 or
quarter.
I loved to see all the speculation this week, especially once the number list got posted, because some of the speculation was incorrect. So
That's awesome.
That was cool to see. One of the numbers was 31, which people were suggesting it might be one of the Bronze coming out here.
Torrey Mustarella.
Torrey Mustarella out of New York.
That's
and it's
awesome.
good to see him down here with a Suicide.
It looks nasty.
He had a
tough.
tilted Crown Vic at the Chautauqua County Fair last year, and I put an in-car camera in it and hung it inside the car, and I was going to have it look backwards because he had it all wedged out and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And he goes, no, put it forward so you can basically watch me drive because I'm not going to use the back of this car. And I'm like, you know what? It's a tilted Ford. You're probably not. So we put it facing forwards. 2 minutes in, he goes half-track backwards into somebody and just about rolls him over. Basically, if the camera was facing backwards, all you would have seen was the spinning drive shaft of the car that was up on his back.
Yeah.
And afterwards, he got out of the car, and I'm like, so what happened there? And he goes, yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, you know what? Just kind of sitting here looking at everyone kind of making their way by. I do see Tom Taylor Sr. here.
Yep.
Tom from Massachusetts. He's kind of hanging out. We're going to try to draw him in here a little bit, get his thoughts on the trip out here. And
Tom didn't get it when you waved to him.
I know. Tom, come on over and see us. We're going to put you on the camera here. These guys came all the way from Massachusetts, a little over 500 miles, and they're basically just looking at it as a vacation where they get to Derby. But
give him the formal introduction. Who is this again?
All right, fans.
Give him the introduction.
This is how we do it down in Brockton. Fans, driving the number 3 car. He is the captain of the Hammer Time Demo Team. From Brockton, Massachusetts, Tom Taylor Sr.
All right, now get out of the way.
Now get out of here. Tom, come on over. Thanks, guys.
Got Tom Taylor coming in. You met Tom Taylor, right?
I've not.
Oh, you have not?
I've not met Tom.
You guys shared the track in Brockton during the team show.
Yes, we did.
And I may have this incorrect. You're running a stock thing.
No.
You're running with the well guys.
With the car, but
Just put them on, that way you can hear. You're already live, you're ready to go, so we can hear you. Just make sure you talk right into that so everybody out there can hear you too. Welcome to the Crash Course Podcast. Thanks a lot for coming out. Appreciate it. And got the opportunity, Josh Decker. I don't know if you guys have formally met.
Nice to meet you, sir. Yep.
But so what do you think? What do you think? What do you got? How was inspection?
Some really good built cars here, and wish I built mine a little better, but
you didn't bring a welder and some spare metal?
Yeah, I'm gonna go as good as I can.
Yeah.
See what happens.
What's it like to travel 500 miles from home to participate in a show of this caliber?
It was brutal.
Yeah.
We had nothing but problems. We were supposed to leave early in the morning. We leave till late. Got in at 2 in the morning here, and then just more problems when we got here. But it's a vacation, but it ain't.
A vacation. Well, you got some water to sit by. I don't know if you count this as a beach, but
yeah, exactly.
How does this change the game when you look at the track condition and the track surface? You've got a lot more water on there than you're
I'm used to one of the tracks we used to run at down in Mass was always mud, pure mud. So I kind of like the mud in one respect, but it's probably gonna make the heats go longer too. But.
Yeah,
we'll see,
in terms of which track was that?
Rehoboth Fair, down in Rehoboth, Mass.
So who else came out here with you? The 117, Chuck Bucknam, the winner of the Northeast Championship. He's here.
117, my nephew Scott Bonito in 210, and my oldest son Chris in 628.
And have you ever built anything like this before?
No. We used to build all the cars. Like I used to run the Bubble Vics. You could put Chevy motors in them, but you couldn't do really no welding, just threaded rod. Basically, that was all the car back there. But I want to I'm gonna build another one for next year. Now that I see how these things are, it's got me hooked. I think down here.
You've been doing this for how long?
Since like 1990, I've been derbying.
Yeah, so you're looking at quite a bit of experience, almost 25 years now.
Yeah.
And how much have you been able to learn just looking around here?
Looking the way everything's built in these, I mean, I was like, well, my car's definitely underbuilt. I'm gonna drive the wheels off it like I always do.
Yeah, that's no lie. That is no lie.
That's what's awesome about coming to these shows, though, is you get used to seeing everything in your area. So you're like, all right, in my area, I kind of know what everybody's doing. Then you get here, and it's like, whoa, guys are just blowing your minds of what they're thinking of doing and the things that they're trying to do. There's some really neat stuff out there.
I mean, I was going to the inspection. I'm like, this thing ain't gonna pass. I did too much welding. I don't see all these other things. I'm like, all right, I didn't do enough welding.
No.
Have you spent any money with the vendors to get ready for next year when you come back?
I'm looking. I'm actually looking for some ideas to maybe make my own stuff like do. But I was looking around. I already started building a cradle on this motor because where I keep breaking all the crankshaft pulleys off. So
a duck bill, as it were.
Duck bill, yeah.
Yeah.
Duck bill. I don't know.
You're in stock.
I'm in stock.
He's stock. He's running.
I'm running stock. I'm running junk today.
I saw his car and I thought he was running stock too.
Yeah.
Oh, don't. That's mean.
What?
Steve told me, don't worry, the red car will be able to be just as muddy as the other ones and you can hide out and be fine.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested today because it's really going to be a motor derby today. I mean, I'm running a stock 350 and I'm just going to go out there and hone on it because I really don't think my car could last. I think they're going to be 40-minute plus heats. I mean, with the wet, the rain, and how hard some of these cars are, they're not going to be bending them. I don't think.
I brought 2 extra batteries for each camera and an extra memory card just in case
You're
they
going to
ran
need
out.
it. Yeah. You're going to need it.
You're going to need it probably.
Yeah.
But the awesome thing, too, is like there is every kind of car you can imagine is here today.
Yep. Yes.
There's clamshells, shockers, old Fords, 70s Fords, Vics. I mean, everything's going to be out there at the same time. I'm really interested in how it shakes out tonight.
Did you see the T-Beard back there?
Yeah. That thing looks like it's built good.
Yeah. That's going to be driving through Josh a little later on.
Yes, it will.
Hang on.
I didn't even think that we were going to be able to catch any traffic or anything. I didn't rig up the second camera so we could look at this. We got Tori Mustarella going back through 74. That's his second or third time up there through inspection line.
Yep.
It's 80 style Lincoln. It's the diversity is
there's everything here.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it's very neat. And even in the stock class, like there's a bunch of shockers here. They're going in the stock class, which is a great choice. You know, that's where shockers should be run.
You ever screw around a whole lot with the Mopars at all?
I did a couple of times. Didn't have any luck with them.
No.
I ran 2 big 78 New Yorkers. Had bad luck with them. I did a couple of Fifth Aves, but not really a Mopar.
Well, Fifth Aves aren't really Chryslers.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you had a lot of opportunity in your area? I mean, your area is heavy with JM production style rules and a lot of 80s and newer stuff. Have you had opportunity to delve much into the 70s?
I do, because when he does the fall brawl, you can bring any air.
Yeah.
And I think it was 2 years ago I ran a 74 Impala 2-door. Pretty much cleaned house when I got down to second place and until I broke the steering shaft. But like with the fall brawl, he'll let you run anything pretty much, you know.
Right.
And sometimes he'll do like the first 2 nights at Brockton, he can run any air, you know. But
you had a Le Mans this year.
Yeah.
Do you still have that around?
No, I already got rid of that. That was a mistake, but it was.
It was 2 nights in a row that
the wheel stud snapped right off, opposite sides. I couldn't believe it.
Broke clean off.
Yep.
It's a tough one to take right there.
Yeah.
There was 4 cars on the track for the V8s both nights, and Tom had a Le Mans, and the wheel studs broke off.
I heard that, Tom.
Rough deal.
That's a
Real
bad
rough
luck,
deal.
man.
That's what happens when you run no rear brakes with them.
Yep. Yeah.
Shit right off.
Right. Tell me a little bit more about the trip down and everything. We were talking a little bit about David Day with his Edsel. You've got all this water pouring into the car. Was any concerns? Did you do anything in terms of your trip down or trying to protect any of that equipment from the water getting in there?
No, we actually, when we came here Thursday, actually. We didn't hit no rain.
Oh, so you were here a little bit earlier.
And so just like last night when we went to bed, we just covered the mold
and
stuff, and that was it.
Yep. It continues to change the dynamic when you add elements like that. And I mean, even some of the guys that are going to be out on the track today could be subject to some water issues because of the amount of liquid that's on the track at this point.
Yeah.
But so what else have you got to do? You're through inspection. You're just in relaxed mode from here until 7 o'clock when they get ready to throw the green flag.
Exactly.
Cool.
I kind of wish it wasn't in the first heat. I wanted to see all the guys around him on the wall. You know?
Well, all your teammates are going to be watching.
Yeah. Yep.
So how are they breaking it down today, Chris? They're doing heats first, then stock, and then feature?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
And then there's going to be a consolation event in there as well. The only thing that I'm not sure of is if there's an impound rule. I forgot to look at that, and there is an impound rule,
yes,
so
rule.
it keeps a lot of that advantage of being first heat, second heat, third heat. You having more time to work on your car. That's eliminated. Everybody's going to be released at the same time, which is that's a good move. I mean, to show at this caliber, you have to be fair.
No one ever talks about though is the temperature of your motor and tranny. The guys that run their first heat, their motors and trannies are cool. That's the only. I mean, that's the only positive coming out of the first couple of heats is a little bit more time to cool.
And that has nothing to do with impounds. That's nothing to do with impounds right there. It's still going to cool off.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not gonna wrap it in a blanket and keep it warm until impound is released, right?
No. I'm just saying it's the only. I mean, you still want to get in the earlier heats, even though they have an impound. You still want to get in the earlier heats.
Yep.
And now let's not mention the track conditions. Because I'm telling you, they're going to really be changing as the night goes on. The first heat is going to be way different than the last heat. Is that raining?
It's
nice.
quit. Yeah, it's quit. And the thing is walking along the front stretch here, there's a real hard base in that. It's still fairly hard underneath the first maybe 4 or 5 inches of clay. It felt pretty hard. Kind of like what you have at Brockton. There's still asphalt underneath the track, so even when it gets wet and soupy, you stand on it long enough, you'll get down to asphalt eventually.
I got to say, Brockton's track was really good.
It's a quick track.
It really was a good track. Even though they had water out on it, it got out of there fast. And, when you stepped on that gas, you were moving.
You were gone.
I liked it. I like the track a lot.
Now, do they do anything to this with the machine or anything?
Yeah, they got to put some water on it still.
Really? They need a puddle over there.
It's that side of the track, the far side of the track, looks like it's in a little better shape, a little better shape than the front side of the track. And this place, being that it's clay, it runs in fairly well. This place can take a lot of water. I mean, certainly it's going to be put to the test today, but this place can take a lot of water. We were here in 2011 for a fall brawl event, and it was weather similar to this, and that track was wet when they started. But by the time they got down to the last heat, the consolation, and the main rounds, it was running well. It was running real well.
And you really got to change your driving style for the track conditions. I mean, today's going to be so sloppy. The guys that are just sitting out there honing on it, we're going to be seeing a lot of burnt trannies. Yep. We're going to see a lot of cars steaming and motors locking up. I think that
that radiator pack's full of mud. You're not getting any air through it.
You really got to keep yourself cool and calm today. You know what happens in this weather is you start getting pissed off because you can't get anywhere. You see the shot you want to take, but you can't get to it. Yeah, and you actually start horsing on the car a lot harder because you start getting aggravated about it. And that's not the way to be today. Calm and cool.
Do you go through the effort of making a gear change?
I'm going to say guys running, I know some guys are running over 500, and it's just too low of a gear. I mean, me personally, I would say the guys that are running stock gears in a stock class, because no one is in the mod, I don't think, but or maybe low 300s, mid 300s would probably be a better gear choice than going high, going 500, 600.
How many tire combinations did you bring?
Just a couple.
Just a couple?
Yeah.
I know there's one.
The Bobcat tires in the back, and we just got different fronts for all the cars, basically.
There's one team here that brought 10 sets of rear tires, all with different combinations, compounds, tread patterns. I mean, I was joking with him. I said, you're basically a late model team when you're talking about your different tire combinations on a clay track like this. And
very cool.
And he goes, you can laugh all you want, but if I'm getting traction out there and nobody else is, I'm right.
But look at when we went to Winter Slam, and look at Zacharias that was running radials on the ice. If you're smart enough to think it
Kenny
through,
Rosno had snow tires, snow treads on
another one that the guys that thought about this before they got here did a lot better that night. And I'm sure you're going to see the same thing tonight. Guys that are making tire changes are going to do a lot better.
How big of a deal is the front tire combination? Being able to steer and not just shove your nose all over?
I don't know if you're really going to be able to steer much in this. This is going to be steering with a gas pedal.
Yeah, you're going to be sliding more than steering than this.
Yeah, I think you're going to be steering with a gas pedal.
Yep.
Yeah. The floor-mounted gas pedal from Mad Mike's Derby Shop. Right?
Mine are my gas pedal and brake pedal are actually touching. There's a millimeter. So every time I went to go press the gas or the brake, I've been pressing the gas. I've almost wrecked 5 times out there. So
you're such
if I hit somebody, we know why.
You're such a rookie. Well, Tom, I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us here for a few minutes. I know your whole family's here, and thank you for coming out. Enjoy your time here, and we look forward to you putting on a show.
I'm going to try.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks.
It's finally starting to dry a little bit out there.
Got Psycho coming in. I know I'm going to butcher your name. Rich Ridinger, right? Ridinger. Okay. There's about 12 different pronunciations that I've heard, and none of them have been correct.
I won't even try that one.
But Rich has had the in-car, came around before here. How did inspection go for you today?
I didn't get to bring a car today.
You didn't bring one?
Nope.
Why not?
I got injured at Bash. I twisted my wrist around backwards, and it kind of set me back a while.
Was it because you don't want to put your hand at risk, or because you couldn't actually build?
I couldn't actually build it.
You need to do what Josh Decker does and just start throwing 20s on the ground and making people build for it.
I need to pay somebody to build it for me. Actually, me and my wife are both registered to run, and neither one's going to make it.
That's tough.
That's tough.
How about the caliber of car here?
What's that?
The caliber of cars here.
Oh, it's looking pretty sweet. It always is. It's always high class here.
Yeah.
Everybody here with Keystone Nationals appreciates you coming back and supporting the show, even though you weren't able to bring a car. How tough is it to be sitting on the sidelines right now?
Oh, it's rough. It's the first time that I haven't ran the Keystone Nationals. Kind of felt weird getting in the truck and heading here without anything behind you.
How much faster could you get here not having to tow something?
Not that much.
No?
I ain't too far. I'm only about an hour away.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to go over to the inspection bar and see what was going on over there?
I walked by. I didn't get to go in yet.
There's a lot going on in there.
It was pretty busy.
A lot of people and a lot going on.
It was real busy. One of the things that they had all sorts of different plywood and everything. Everybody had a job. It was like ants on a picnic blanket. They were just crawling all over all the cars. Everybody had a specific job, and they were going through, hitting all their assigned stuff. And a lot of guys were getting some more spray paint on the car with stuff to fix, and a couple of guys were lucky enough to get through on the first shot.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of neat about the inspection line here is, and maybe other places do this, but like they got Toby up there, Toby Hiley, and he's looking at suspension. Then they got somebody else looking at the rear ends of cars, somebody else looking at frames of cars, and I like that where you got guys specifically looking for certain things and guys that are good at those things. And you feel a little bit more comfortable that they're not missing anything. And if they found it on your car, they're finding it on someone else's car. And I sat up there and through inspection, and those guys are really doing a good job. Really good job. Very thorough. And, you also hear about some guys bitching about taking so long to get through inspection, but really, I think it's good because they are underneath. They are in every crevice, hole, everything of those cars. And I like them when they have long inspections like that.
I talked to a couple of drivers that said that they are the most apprehensive on Derby Day, even with 20-plus years of experience, even with all the cars they built. The most nervous that they get through the course of Derby preparation is when they're sitting there in the inspection line.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's about right.
Yeah.
I've been through a good many, so I don't get the butterflies much anymore.
Is it better when you're waiting in the inspection line and you see the cars in front of you getting crawled all over, or does it make you feel a little bit better when it's only basically they look at it, they look underneath it, they have a flashlight on it for 2 seconds, put a stick on it, it goes. What makes you feel better to see?
Oh, definitely take your time. I mean, there's a lot of money on the line out there today.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want them 2 seconds and through. You never know what they're hiding under there. And this is a very thorough inspection here. It's always fair.
Yep.
So since you don't have a horse in the race, do you have any picks?
I got a couple buddies running, so I'll give them a hand.
Yeah. You gonna mention them, or?
I think it's anybody's race out there today. I mean, this mud's gonna, I'm sure, play a factor.
Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is.
There's really no way for it not to at this point. I mean, so when you're looking at this track, what are you looking at? What are you looking to do, change? If you have a car here, what are you looking to change in terms of preparation for your particular heat?
Definitely more aggressive tires. Looks like stay on the high side. Looks like this low side here is pretty soupy.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Which is where everybody's going to be starting from.
Yeah.
So it's going to make it interesting right off the get-go.
Might get mixed up through there once they churn a little mud here in first, second couple heats.
Is it better in a situation like this to have an early heat or a late heat here?
I think an early heat, I think you might get through with a little less damage to your car if it does dry out any.
I see they've dumped a bunch of dry dirt on the midway up there by the inspection line or by the raffle car registration tent. I don't think that they got enough dry stuff to put on that to make any difference.
Definitely not.
There's some nice cars in that line.
It's hypnotic. I really
some of the motors, man. It's just gonna be a real fun day today. I mean, these stands are awesome because you're gonna hear that motor just echoing inside them stands, and it's a great layout. I really like the layout here. There's a big crow's nest up at the top of the grandstands, and everything's chained off. But I'm hoping that maybe we can get up there and tape from up there. Put one of the cameras up on top. Yep. That would be cool. Versus otherwise, we're just going to camp out right here on the stage like we have in the past and tape from here. Word is that the rain has stopped now briefly, but there's more coming, and I'm still a little apprehensive about what I'm going to do with these in-car cameras because I took all my waterproof backs. Because I wanted them to sound better. Yeah. I took a Dremel tool and ripped them all open. So now that they're all wide open. Right. Yeah,
I did that to all mine too.
now they're all susceptible to water, and this is going to be a wet place.
When you run them things,
absolutely,
they sound horrible.
Yeah, I want it to sound like you're sitting right there in the passenger seat with Josh Decker.
You'll hear me in them. I'm interested, too, with the tires here. Like, this is the first track I've ever run that had tires all the way around it. And I like that because usually when you're running concrete, as we all know, you take a shot in concrete, you're bending frame rails. Concrete is the worst car to hit on the track. But these tires, not so much. I mean, you get driven into tires, I don't think it'll make that much of a difference, right? I don't know if it'll hurt a car hitting these tires or not.
I don't know. Rich doesn't get driven into the tires much, Josh.
I do.
I actually got pushed in there and almost got stuck. I think it was last year or the year before, so when they get moving, they kind of pin you in there.
Right. You know what? That's a good idea. If you could jam somebody up in them and slide them out a little bit, they'll lock themselves right in there. Thank you. Thank you for that tip.
It's a strategist coach over here.
It's a good idea, though. I mean, I can see people fighting to get out of there.
Yeah, it was tough to get out. I think I finally got out.
That's neat. That's real neat.
And they're heavy. They're not moving a lot, Josh.
No, I can see that.
Crowd's already trickling in. I like to see that. I mean, this rain really hasn't kept a lot of people away. With the covered grandstands, makes things a ton easier to endure if it's iffy weather. Because you can get in and out of the rain. And we ended up building Tent City down here.
Yeah, nobody wants to sit in the rain. I'm sure they would, but
the drivers don't.
Happier. No,
drivers certainly don't.
I'm soaked right now.
Going out into the derby with a wet car seat's got to be miserable.
Oh, it is. I ran into Alex a couple weeks ago, and somebody ended up giving me a pizza box to sit on and keep my butt wet or keep it dry.
That's the worst when you sit in the seat and you get that cold. It's like, damn it.
How was new Alex?
I took second up there. I took my bash car. I ran out there. So I just took it out there to kill it.
Congrats, man.
I killed it.
Did you?
Nice. I ended up ripping the tranny cross member out, and luckily I had a slider in there. It was just churning dirt.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. And it looks like Tent City down there.
Yeah, there's a lot of pop-ups covering motors, and I didn't think that they were going to be letting the stock guys park their trucks in the pit area. I didn't think that was happening, but I mean, as long as they can get out, I guess more power to them, right?
Down below, it's a little tight. I mean, it's going to be tight for guys to get themselves out of there later tonight. I'm stuck in a tough spot to get out of, but we'll see if I can get out of there. It's pretty muddy down there on that bottom side, too.
I pulled my minivan right up over there underneath the grandstand. So.
I seen a guy pulling his truck and trailer and got stuck out here in the middle of the field.
Not good.
Not good. No, it's going to be ugly to get cars and trucks out of here.
Excellent. So did you find your seats yet in the grandstands?
Yeah, we got a blanket sitting up there. I'd rather be sitting in the seat in the car, but.
Well, I see you got a whole fan club over here with you. We can let you get back
Heather, to my head pit man Justin Kerninsky, and my little boy Kobe, and his wife Jen.
I think that was an important one to mention.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming and sitting down with us here for a little while here on Crash Course Live.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it and wish you the quickest recovery on your hand. And,
all right, thank you.
We look forward to seeing you back here next year.
All right. Hopefully I'll be at Clarion, the show they're running next week. So we'll see if I can make her up there.
I believe we're down there, too.
I hope to see you.
Well, good luck, man.
Thanks a lot. And I think next in line, we've got Mike DeFreesia from Mad Mike's Derby Shop. Be careful, Mike. When you sit down, you're going to end up getting a little wet here on our gutter system.
Pretty sure he's soaking wet anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm already wet.
Throw those on so that you can hear us all right and get right up on top of that microphone. Thanks for sitting down this here, Mike DeFreesia from Mad Mike's Derby Shop. Thanks for getting a car together for Josh to run. He wouldn't have done it otherwise.
No, thank you so much.
I mean, he was
really appreciate
his
it.
teeth were literally chattering on Monday when he was getting the realization he's going to have to come down here and run.
Yeah, we were happy to do it.
Mike's guys were awesome to me. Yeah, no, you guys were super great to me. I really appreciate it, And earlier in the year, Mike, I don't know if you remember, but real early in the season, like maybe December, January, you were saying to people, if anybody wants to get a car built, and back when you said that, I told you, it was like, Mike, I need you to build me a car one time this summer, and we talked about it, couldn't make it happen, but you made it happen for me now, and I really appreciate it, Mike. It means a lot to me, and your whole group of guys are just great guys, and I appreciate all the help.
Now, I understand that Josh is running in the stock division, and I saw your weld car, which is a pre-run.
Yes.
Right. Now, why is it that Josh has a fresh car in the stock class and you have to run a pre-run
I told him
in a 5,000 to win class?
I was kind of asking myself that, but
I told him he could take it.
I was kind of not joking when I told him he showed up. I said, you could have either one of these. I think the stock class is a better bet tonight. But
yeah.
We've talked a little bit about the track conditions. We've talked about the weather. We don't need to beat a dead horse, but at the same time, your situation is a little bit different. You've got a pre-run car. It's folded up just about perfect in the back. You've got the down bar over the back window. Everything is built well, and the motor sounds outstanding. At the same time, it's still a pre-run car.
Yes.
How much does the track conditions right now equalize things for you, and things put you at less of a disadvantage?
I actually think it helps. I mean, the shots aren't going to be as hard. So
right.
Now that my car's already been used up, I actually think it's going to help me a lot. Slowing everybody down, and I'll take the rain.
Well, and also, Mike, like
you're the only person here saying that.
All your metal is away from your tires, so you really don't have to worry about any of that. Other guys are going to be worrying about that. I think your car's going to be doing great. I mean, it's going to be so mobile also, And, of course, you got a red line in there, so
yes,
it's going to sound awesome.
There's red lines here. There's Baldwin's here. There's a couple guards here, I believe.
Like, how cool is that Derby's turning into that, where there's like this and the Cyopus kind of started it with what motor is going to win this weekend, and that's really cool. I kind of like that as, or maybe a house-built motor is going to win it. You never know. It's pretty neat.
I could tell you 5 years ago, we were running up here, and I would have never thought, we got guard motors, Ziz motors, red lines, Baldwin's here. I would have never guessed.
Yeah, it's cool.
I can't think of the manufacturer in the Midwest. C&M? C&M.
Yep.
I thought there was one of those supposed to be here as well, but I'm not for sure. There could have been there could still be a Kohler engine here if the X2C car shows up.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen
his
him
name's
go through
on the
line.
list.
I haven't seen him go through the line.
I have not either. And the inspection line, realistically, it's looking fairly thin over there at this point. I mean, I'm wondering if everybody has made it through. The goal was a 6 o'clock cutoff. We still got an hour and
20 minutes left. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys got a good view from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really should have hooked up that other camera. So I mean, at this point, there's really nothing to look at. There's none of the cars are over there in line. But they're earlier.
There are some sick cars here. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I got to run against that.
How did your heat draw end up?
So far, it looks pretty good. I mean, I didn't recognize a lot of the numbers from the podcast, but what's lined up over there, it looks like they're, we're all pretty equal. So
nice.
And they are doing a good job up at inspection. I kind of stood up there for a little bit, and they are being thorough. I mean, I got a pre-run car. A lot of times you get through easier with the pre-run, but I still had to go cut a bunch of stuff. So.
Oh yes, you're in a heat with a guy that we just had on a few minutes ago, Tom Taylor from up in Massachusetts. You're lined up right behind him, the red car.
I was wondering who that was. I didn't recognize.
He said he was going after you, Mike.
It's from Massachusetts.
No, just joking. I'm so joking. I'm just joking. Mike, if you would have built something fresh, what would you have brought?
Probably a square body Lincoln. I got another one about built. You actually saw it, but all my goodies were in this car, and it still had a run in it, so here we are.
Yep.
Don't worry, actually. Tom's not going after you. Actually, when we were talking here earlier, I told him that you were probably the best driver here,
Oh, jeez, come on now. You guys are stretching that pretty far, I'll tell you.
So just don't pick on the 2 car and you'll be fine.
All right. I see they got some nice trophies.
Yeah, they're getting the trophies out. That one over the first place trophy, 7 feet tall.
No, those are awesome trophies, man. These are awesome trophies.
The first place trophy, 7 feet tall. Does it come with a quick release so you can take it apart and fit it in the vehicle and bring it home?
Man. Mike, let me ask you this, because the car that you brought here tonight, you won a Derby with it the other day. Does it kind of frustrate you? I know you took it to that Derby not building it for there. Now that you won with it, do you kind of slap yourself saying, like, boy, maybe if I would have brought it to the $5,000 show, maybe that car would have lasted the whole night in the $5,000 instead of $2,000? Have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, we actually talked about that last night at the shop, but, you know, most of the shows I run are $1,000 or less anyhow, so to go over there and win $2,000, and, you know,
it was awesome.
I was happy with that. And
good for you.
I mean, we did talk about that, but I don't think I would change it.
All your shows are less than $1,000 to win, which is why you drive 30 of them a summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to build them like you do, you know, for a show like this.
Right.
They go a little quicker. 10 days, we can have a car done normally. So,
I mean, how do you like this style build?
I mean, I like it, but not if I had to build every car.
Yeah, I was going to say, once in a while, it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I try to do one or two cars a year like this.
What do you know about building a car like this?
I've watched people build them. I've built plenty of modified cars. I mean, they sucked, but I built them.
2 a year is about my limit. I mean, the rest of them I like to stay stock. You start getting into more than 2 or 3 a year of this type of car, and it seems like it burns me out.
Oh, definitely.
I'd rather just junk one and go to the next.
Not the first time we've come across that idea either.
But, you know, Mike is kind of more like me. Like, some of these guys really get into the building side of it, where they'll just sit in their garage for months and build one car. But I think Mike's more like me, where we more enjoy the track time. The actual smashing and all that was more fun to me than the building. So, to me, I'd rather just keep getting out on the track, you know?
Pete Hansen's a guy who likes to sit in his shop and look at the rules and look at the car and just go through each one step by step, little by little.
Yep.
He's a guy that enjoys the build process.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and that is awesome. I just don't have that mentality.
Yep.
I'm like, man, I'm done looking at this thing. Where's the next one?
Yep, that's me too. And I get burnt out. Sometimes you have a car in your garage for a month, and it's like, I'm sick of looking at this thing. You know, I just push it out and pull a different one in just to work on something different. I'm kind of the same way, Mike.
Did you see that pre-run Mopar just went back through line?
Yeah, I seen that. I seen a couple of good ones. I seen one with a pointy hard nose to it. So,
yeah, I've saw a few pointies here, actually.
Yep.
Just one or two?
Yeah.
Did you see the front of David Day's T-Bird back there?
T-Bird looks nasty.
I thought he was in my heat. I had to walk over and make sure he wasn't.
I think I'm out there with him. I think that's a stock car,
right? Yeah, that's a stock car.
Yeah. He sent me a picture of it the other day. He goes, don't show anybody this. And I go, you better not be in the stock heat with me.
You know how Brian Tompkins was talking to Troy Tagg about building his Cadillac?
Yeah.
That looks like it's got Zacharias influence. The Zacharias factor.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
I'm glad guys like David Day are still building the old cars, though. I mean, it's just cool seeing them out there. I mean, we're in 2014. How old is that car? You know, when you think about it, it's amazing that it's even on the track.
Exactly.
His Edsel looks great too.
No, that looks awesome.
I'm not really sure what they were doing. Josh told me that they were trying to change the bumper height when they were sledgehammering away in the front. I don't believe him, but I'm willing to believe anything because I don't build derby cars and I've never made a secret of it. So I suppose he could be lying to me. But they were over there sledgehammering away on the front of that thing, and it's over in line now. So it's passed. It's got a stick and it's ready to go.
I'm a derby driver. I would never lie.
Okay. That might be the dumbest thing. Tells the promoters.
That might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard, Josh. But
that I lie, or
have you got anything else to do, or are you pretty much ready to go? Cruise control till 7 o'clock.
No, not cruise control. I mean, we're selling parts and buying, cores, and I got a lot going on.
Oh, don't let me. I gotta grab a gas pedal from you for Gully. Don't let me forget, Mike. Gully will get mad at me.
It's on the shelf over there.
I'll grab it.
Anything else you got to do?
He also wants.
How many battery boxes you got?
No, I've already bought like 7 from Mike this year. I don't need any more. Battery boxes are like the nicest thing ever. I mean, after I started buying them, it's like, man, why did it take me so long to have battery boxes? Those make your life a lot easier.
Yeah, they do. We just banded them to the floor for
That's what I used to do.
15 years, one band around them and go.
I did the same.
It's a different game now.
Yeah, a lot. Everything's bolt on.
Well, if you got some work to do, we don't want to keep you. We appreciate you coming and being part of the show. Thanks for coming over and getting that car ready for Josh. And we'll look forward to seeing you out there in the same heat as Tom Taylor.
Thank you much, guys.
Thanks, man.
There's our winner, Cinderella Story, Mad Mike.
Coming up here to take a breather, and we're going to interrupt that breather.
Look at him. He must have changed his pants because they're not soaked like the rest of ours.
You've been riding. Well,
did you do an outfit change?
Contortion your way in, and we'll make it work.
Bo, thanks for having us, man.
Promoter of the Keystone Nationals, Bo Lockwood here. The biggest question on my mind, are you still coming up to Canandaigua with your late model at the end of the month?
Boy, I tell you, I don't know. After all the stress this Derby's put me through, I can't wait to get back to the late model, that's for sure.
I've actually mapped out some open time because I was hoping you were coming to Canandaigua Motorsports Park at the Ontario County Fairgrounds.
Yeah. What's the date on that?
July 27th, maybe. Something like that.
Ooh, we might have to make that work. That'd be a good time.
I was hoping so.
Yeah.
So how's your stress level today?
It's all right. I woke up this morning and, the first thing you see is rain. That's a promoter's nightmare. But it's looking pretty good now. The rain stopped. And, the track out there, it looks wet, but it's sealed over pretty good. So I think we're going to be able to scrape the clay off of it, and get right down to the dry dirt. And we're gonna make this thing happen tonight. It'll be a good one.
There's some great cars here, man. Some really nice iron.
Yeah, it's a dream come true to see some of these guys, and even to have you guys here. It really works out.
We love it.
It's been a long, stressful week, and I'm sure Steve can vouch for me. I've probably been more of a bear than I should have been this whole week, but I kind of need to apologize to everybody for that one. But it's going to work out. I really think so.
How'd the raffle car come together? I see it's here, ready to go.
Raffle car's here. Looks pretty good. It's kind of hard to beat a round back for a raffle car.
No doubt.
Look at that. That's when we decided we were going to go ahead with this, and you think of the cars that you want to build for a raffle car, and who wants to run, there's no other car out there that anybody wants to run more than a clamshell.
That's the third roundback raffle car we've seen this year?
This year, yeah.
Wow. Well, that's good.
But, I think that's what sells tickets, too, is, you got to have a car people want to jump in. Yeah, everybody wants to.
You got to have a wow factor car, whatever it is, and that's still one of them.
Yeah. And, Brent Johnson with Redline, he really stepped up to the plate and said, we're going to put a big motor in this and make it happen.
I got to say, his stuff is very impressive. Man.
This is red light country right
Heaven,
here.
Yeah, no doubt.
You got some of the best in Pennsylvania running these motors, and they're just unbelievable.
It's going to be a motor day.
It really is.
It's going to be a motor day.
Even, as dry as I'm going to try to get this track, it's still going to come down to who's got a motor that can take the heat and who can really survive,
Now, last year, Bo, do you remember how long your feature or your heats were last year?
Well, the heats last year, they seemed to go by pretty quick. They really did. But in the feature last year, we had a little bit of trouble off the start. We had to bounce a couple people and just try to make them hit a little bit harder. And in the end, they did, and it came through, and it worked out pretty good. I'm looking for anywhere between a half hour to 40-minute heat races here tonight. Nice. I really think so.
Nice.
And who knows where the feature is going to go?
Right.
With the track being sloppy, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. So.
You don't. Now, I see some awesome trophies over there. Those two tall ones, they're 7-footers, are both of them for modified, or is one for the weld class and one for stock? Or?
Well, how I did it was these two classes I feel are equal at this Derby.
Yep.
So the stock class and the limited weld both share equal size trophies. They share equal trophies. They have the check everything they need to go with it. It works. So the two tall ones one's for limited weld and one's for the stock class.
I want one of them, Bo.
Oh man, that one in the center is kind of hard to see from here, but it's black. It's that's the Mad Dog trophy.
Awesome.
So, it's a 5-footer itself.
Nice.
There's no junk trophies here, I promise you.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
And it's another nice thing, you get those oversized checks too.
Oh yeah,
those are so cool.
Oh, they're awesome.
To hang one of those above the garage, I'd rather have that than a trophy.
I only got one of them, but every time someone new comes in my garage, the first thing they see, oh, look at that check.
That's
right. It's pretty cool. Right.
Chuck Bucknam got one of those in the Northeast Championships last weekend, and somebody posted on Facebook, "Did you try to cash that?" Thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that would be fun going up to the bank. See what they'll do with it.
I'd like this in large bills, please.
Well, they're pretty big here. I mean, 5,000 to the winner of this limited weld show.
That's awesome.
I'm more impressed at the 400 to start.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, paying back 20 cars and minimum 400 just to take the green flag. And the guy that wins a raffle car, whoever wins a raffle car, they're taking $400 home just because they're in the feature.
He's 400 to the good. As soon as we pull his number, I mean, it's 400. That's the thing. I mean, if you want to, for a guy to travel this far, you know, or even to build a car of this, you know, caliber, you have to be able to offer something to the guys that are at least making your show. And I'd love to be able to give money to all the places, you know, even to the heat races, but that's just not possible. Mm-hmm. So we try to offer a pretty good hefty pay the whole way back through the feature, you know, and we run it just like a dirt race. Yep. You know, you get your tow money and.
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about what you just said there. It's just not possible to pay everybody. It's kind of simple, really. Either keep hewing on those scratch offs, or go win the dream at Eldora, and then you can take all that money and you can pay it out here to Derby.
I'll tell you
what. It'd be easy to do, right?
100,000 at Eldora sure sounds good. I'll take half of that money and put it on one of these shows. That's for sure. Oh my, it's shaping up. I see the rain starting again, but.
Now
I don't see that.
They're saying cars heats of 16. How many are you planning on taking out of each heat, and how many do you expect in the future?
Well, what we got 20 spots in the limited weld feature. So no matter how this shakes down, 20 spots will be filled. So we got, I believe we're taking 4 out of each heat, and then 3 out of the consolation round.
Nice.
So you know, let's say we get 16 cars total in our heat races. That's going to be a fight to the end.
Oh yeah.
Down to the 4 cars. You know. And when we get down to the 4 running, we'll stop it right there. We won't make them go any further.
That's one of the great things about Keystone Nationals is when it's down to the cars that are going to qualify, everything gets shut off. Yep. They don't make you run down to the last 1 or anything crazy like that. Those 4 cars, they've earned their spots and they're in. So it's going to be taking 4 out of each of the qualifiers, which is 16, and then there's 3 out of the consolation. If all the entry lists hold, 3 out of the consolation, and then the raffle car. Awesome. There's your 20.
Yep.
So that's a great size track for 20 cars.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you get some movement out there.
Yeah, these the track guys are unbelievable. This is a new track staff this year, and I showed up this morning, and they built this right around 3 this morning.
Oh,
3 a.m. And I had a text message that basically said, "I hope you like it."
Nice.
When I woke up this morning. So I got here, and you couldn't ask for a better track. They used every tire they could find, and they're really making this happen.
That's cool.
So it's even with the cars. I mean, with the mix of the 70s and the 80s, to be able to have a track this size, you know, so these guys can get moving around.
What about the 60s? What about the 60s and the 50s? Because you got some of them too.
I don't want to leave those guys out either. That's. Did you see David Day's?
It's awesome.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about David Day's.
You know.
David Day needs to get some sort of award, whether it's oldest car or whatever. But everybody's talking about David's cars.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, it's still good to see all the wagons too.
Oh yeah.
You don't see those at all.
Yeah, but you got a soft spot for the wagons.
I do. I really do. It's all I used to run when I was running, and it's just they're gorgeous.
It is awesome to come to a show like this and just see all the perfectly clean iron. It's like, where does all this stuff sit? You know, that all these guys were able to find this awesome iron and bring it here today.
Look at Justin Gilmartin is scowling at you.
There's some nice stuff.
It's unbelievable because you don't go to a junkyard or a scrapyard anymore and find these cars.
No, exactly.
They're not there.
And if it's in a junkyard, more often than not, if you do find it, as soon as you say, "I want it," they stick it in the crusher and you're not taking it.
Yep, exactly. It's gone, and I don't know where they're finding them. They got to be in garages and barns, just stored away.
And it's so funny because, you know, I used to chase eBay and Craigslist, and, you know, you talk to other Derby guys, and every single guy here chases Craigslist and eBay, and it's just amazing that guys still pull cars out of there because it's like, man, I mean, there's just everybody's on that. It's really getting difficult to find cars, and you really got to go back to the old days of going and knocking on doors, and
right.
You got to go back to the old days, man, of going and finding them yourself.
Getting chased with a shotgun.
Been there. It's been there.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I had to use Facebook to find this raffle wagon. I looked and looked and looked, and I found all kinds of sedans, but I still had my heart set on a station wagon. And finally, I just got on Facebook. I said, "Listen, guys, this is what I need." And the Derby Nation found it for me.
Right.
You know, it worked out.
And Josh was complimenting the change on the nose of that wagon, putting the Chevy nose on it.
Oh, that's a must.
That's what I'm saying. You know, that's why I said it's really cool that you guys did that. It should make people more apt to buy them raffle tickets because you went and did the things that are necessities.
Yeah,
and if you run that poncho clip, it's junk.
It's
you know?
no good.
No,
somebody's going to cave that right in a hurry.
It's built like a Derby driver would build it.
Exactly.
It's not built like a fan's going to win it, and we don't care what happens.
That car could win today.
Absolutely.
That car could win, and that's what's really cool about a raffle is you got to have a car that someone's got a chance out there with.
Yeah.
And depending on how the track comes in, if you scrape this and dry it out, and people are going hammer down and wadding each other up, that's just making the odds of that raffle car better and better. What happens if one of the guys that qualifies for the feature ends up winning the raffle car?
Good question.
Well, it works two ways. I mean, the guy that wins that raffle car basically has his option, which car he wants to run. I mean, he just won the raffle car, but if he runs the raffle car, his car sits.
Right.
It stays in
It sits on the starting line because he brings that car out first and then goes and gets on the raffle car and parks that next to it, so he gets $800 for starting the feature instead of $400.
Yep. But his spot in the feature for his own car will not make the show.
Right.
Yes. Yes. But if he wants to put somebody in that raffle car, he's more than welcome to.
Which also might be a good idea.
It's a great idea.
Hey. I mean, we're pretty tough on tag teaming and sandbagging here, but it never hurts to have another guy out there at least watching your back in case you get hung out.
Put Rob Ostrander in it.
You know, there are guys from all over the place. So, you know, I'm kind of interested today. Do you see a lot of tag teaming? Because there's it's not like it's all local.
No, 9 states represented here today. 9 states.
That car sounds good, doesn't it? Wow, it sounds really good.
That's nasty.
But no, I mean, you're always, no matter what derby you go to, you're going to have that problem. You're going to have guys that show up in numbers, you know, sometimes 4 and 5s, you know. But it's up to the officials. It really is. It's up to the officials and how good they are to call it out, to make them split apart, you know. It's not... there's a fine line there between guys actually working with each other and guys tag teaming.
Definitely.
You know, we
definitely.
If there's tag teaming, we do not take that. We do not allow that. But obviously, there's nothing I can do about 2 guys. If you have 2 guys that are working with one another, one guy stays on the far side of the derby pit, the other guy goes to the other thing. They're not doing anything wrong.
Right.
You know,
right.
They're doing nothing wrong.
Yep.
But when it comes down to it, I can promise you, those boys will be hitting each other.
Yeah.
I promise.
That's awesome.
Are you pretty happy with how the random draw worked out for the heats? Everybody seemed to be split up.
Oh yeah. I mean, nobody had any idea who was who. I mean, those numbers came out, and
I heard a couple guys say, like, as soon as that show got done, they immediately just start texting just to figure out who's my heat, who is it, you know. Pretty neat.
I was driving, and I know my phone blew up.
Nice.
You know, it was just going nuts. But you know, as far as teaming goes, the way those heats were drawn, I mean, they were perfect. We got all 3 Sciopas split, you know, and you got some of the guys that come up as big families. I mean, they're in separate heats. What do we do now, you know?
Yep.
And heat number 4.
Heat number 4. How about that?
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. You know, any driver I've talked to, you know, they're all. I mean, most of them are pumped up.
Yep.
You know, we're at the Keystone Nationals. We're at a big derby. We might as well go through the big heat and you know, see if we can advance to the feature that way. But you know, the first 3 heats, those are no slouch heats either.
No.
You know, you look at some of the drivers in these heats, and it's unbelievable.
We're not taking anything away from the first heat, but I tell you what, the 4th heat's going to be one that you want. It's the prelude to the feature.
That's right. That's right. It's definitely going to be the one to watch. But hey, you never know. We could be stunned. That first heat might go on forever.
That's what I was just going to say.
That 4th one,
you don't know. Maybe you get a bunch of baggers in number 4.
Right.
You don't
That's
know.
right.
That's why we derby.
That's right. You never know what could happen.
Yep.
So
what's you got about 2 hours before showtime. Inspection is going to close in about 55 minutes. What are you doing? What are you doing with the rest of your afternoon?
Pulling my hair out. Yeah. No, the officials the inspectors are doing a good job. It looks like they're moving cars pretty quick. I've seen a couple guys. I mean, I don't think we've thrown anybody out so far. I think they're all. I mean, guys are starting to understand what our officials are looking for, and you know. And
Pete Hansen he's on his way back to the inspection barn again, and he's got it's his 3rd trip and it's his 3rd set of rear tires.
Yeah,
combination.
How about that? You know, we got this track out here. We got we got tractor treads. You just got whatever you want to call it, just a winter tread.
Yep.
What would you guys run?
Oh, we were talking with Pete Hansen. He's a late model team over there with 10 different sets of rear tires, wide ones, narrow ones, bar tires, deep treads, skid steer tires, and it's a gamble.
He was asking me that earlier today. He says, what should I do? What do I run? And I told him, sometimes those deep lugs, that doesn't help you, especially on a track like this where you could really dig yourself a hole if you get into somebody.
I think you'll definitely be seeing a lot of guys changing between heat and feature their tires.
Absolutely.
You'll definitely see guys honing in on what's working for that feature.
Yeah, and isn't it great that that's what this sport's come to?
Yeah, it's awesome. It really is.
We joked about the common comparisons between this and actual dirt track racing and stuff, but guys are doing that. They're watching to see who's doing what, where they're driving, what combinations they've got. I mean, a lot of these guys out there right now have a wide sidewinder type skid steer tires, and those are the ones. Those are the ones that are probably in the best shape. If the track runs in, they're going to be in real good shape.
It's crazy. You go down to some of these pit stalls, and they look just like at our dirt races. It's just the same setups. Like we got guys grilling down there, and having a good time. They bring their whole family.
Are the Ciopas? I thought I saw the 501. If the Ciopas are here, that's basically the VIP suite.
And the Trents. I've been trying so hard to get them to show up at our Derby. And they're finally here. We got them down in the barn. They got another big spread set up.
Did you hear about Dan? When he went through inspection?
How'd that go?
It didn't go well.
Oh, God.
He had his list of stuff on the front of the sheet, and then he had the rest of the stuff he had to fix on the back of the sheet. I think he's already gone up a couple, 2-3 times as well.
Wow. Well, that just means our officials are doing their job.
They're doing a great job. I stood up there for a while, and you got a good group of guys there.
Yeah, they're the best in the business. I couldn't ask for anything better.
It's so cool to pull in that inspection line. It's tough for people to see, but you go to a lot of fairs that when you get to an inspector, the inspector sucks. And you're like, whatever. But when you pull into that line, it's like, you know what? I really feel confident that no matter what they make me do is fair. And that they're catching everything on everybody else's. Right. And when you see the guys that are up there in that booth, it's like, you know what? I like this. That's what every Derby should be like.
Yeah, I don't even go in there. I go in to make sure these guys have something to drink and something to eat and make sure they're okay. I trust them.
They're doing a good job.
They're the best in the business as far as I'm concerned. I've never seen a group of inspectors, and you'll go to your county fairs or even wherever. You'll go to a Derby, and the first thing the official tells you when he finds something he doesn't like on that car is he starts yelling at you.
Oh yeah.
He's all about trying to prove to you that it is not going to happen. You're out of here, or you cut it, or you're out of here. Basically, is what they say. And we try to take a little different approach to that.
See, that's what in New York it's kind of like that. It's like you go through inspection, and if you did something you shouldn't, everyone starts yelling at you. You're a jerk for doing this and that. But when you get to these bigger shows, they're working with you because these inspectors are drivers. These are guys that have been through the inspection line.
At the same time, look at this from a business perspective.
Go ahead.
Okay, I write a set of rules. I'm going to pay out this much money for your show. So basically, I have a contract with you that based on your performance, I'm going to pay you money.
Okay.
Right? Yes. So now flip that around. You show up with a cheated car to that. Basically, those rules are a contract, and you show up with a cheated car. That's a little bit disrespectful for me. I'm going to pay you money for your performance. You chose to make a cheated car.
Right.
I mean, that's definitely a good way to look at it. I think the way what we have happening here today is you got guys that are not doing things that are completely overboard.
Right.
They're doing maybe that little thing that they're, maybe we'll get away with this. Maybe they think it's a little gray area in the rules.
Exactly. It's the interpretation card.
Exactly. So I don't think they're showing up with the intent of, we're going to try to get one by these guys, because I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
But
no. I don't think so.
You got to give it.
No.
You got to give the guys credit for trying.
Oh yeah.
That's
the fun thing of the sport, though. That's why the sport's kind of cool, and that's what I really like about having good inspectors.
If you go through inspection the first time, you didn't try hard enough.
Well,
that's right.
So I didn't try hard.
Yeah. Did you pass in the first try?
I passed in less than 30 seconds.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
When they were done laughing, they put the stick on my car.
They pointed and laughed.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll do fine.
No, I'm just here for fun, man. I can't wait. I'm going to have a great time with great drivers.
Chris Forster stuck his head in the car and said, "Didn't you used to be Josh Decker?"
Well, when I got in there, there's no door bar on the side of me, and I said, "Mike, what happened to the door bar?" And he's like, "I think I forgot." And it's like, okay.
You don't need it.
Nah, it's too muddy anyway.
It's fine. It's fine.
I've taken plenty of driver door shots. I'm okay with it.
That's right.
Josh, they're going to cave in the back of that car so fast you're not even have to worry about them getting to the driver's door.
Right.
You got a long run here. But that's one thing we do different at the Keystone Nationals. We don't start them end to end like you see a lot of derbies. I think that's a personal thing on my side. That's just a cheap shot for somebody that wants to take it. You know, I try to keep the competition, as level as I can. So normally I'll start them nose to nose or, back to back, just however I do it. Sometimes I just even line them up along one side of the track. Yep. Because I don't feel that anybody needs that unfair advantage.
I love the parking lot style start.
Yes.
That's so cool. When you line them all up nose to nose.
See, I don't like that.
I love that.
See, I didn't like that. And I'm just, there's no right or wrong. But when I was watching Spring Explosion, it's just like the first 3 minutes is everyone stuck together. I kind of like to see some action right out the bat. But
absolutely.
That's just me.
Yeah, it's fun to see, but at the same time, for some of these drivers, man, I've seen their nights get ruined.
Right.
You get some of these guys that have the sedans sitting real close to the ground. You watch them go right to the ground.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's their own fault for doing it. It's their own fault for.
You don't want to see a guy that's come a long way or put a lot of time and effort into a car get blown apart on the start.
Absolutely.
That's why they do the handshake style thing at the Brockton Fair, the Northeast Championship. We're going to be talking with the winner of that, Chuck Bucknam, here in just a few minutes. But I like the diagonal start. I mean, that's the way it was when I was a kid, and there was 100 cars signed in, and there was 40 cars lined up for the feature, and it was just cars as far as you could see lined up diagonal across the front of the grid, and that's
right.
That's the way to do it. You do not want to be in the middle of that.
No. Well, I'll tell you, I miss the days of those big car counts like that. The big.
Yeah, but those days are gone. I mean, they're just not coming back.
But
they're a good memory.
It's a fun time.
Got us all into this.
As a promoter, though, I would much rather have the car count that I have here of quality drivers.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Literally.
That'd be a red line. You heard in the background.
Good old Petey.
He still doesn't have a stick.
No.
Man. What's he doing?
He's going to wait till 5:58.
That's what he's doing. Yeah, he doesn't want his car to get sitting out in the impound lot and get wet.
What he's doing is he's everything they spray painted. He's going to go out and drive around in the mud and get all covered up and then take it back to the line. And every time they keep catching it.
Man, I'll tell you.
It's like, no, Pete, wash it off.
Yeah.
I stared at Pete's car for about an hour when I got here. It just puts me in awe that someone. He thought through everything, every piece, he thought about what he's going to do for the feature.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, the mounts on the roof. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just amazing.
He's an inspector's nightmare.
Yeah, he told me he's nervous going through inspection line. It's like, why? Because you're going to teach somebody something?
But
he's a great guy for the sport because he just keeps pushing us up.
Absolutely.
And guys are following behind him, and he just keeps pushing us to the next level.
Yep. And you never know, how much further the sport can really go.
Steel wheels.
Exactly. Steel wheels. He shows up with steel wheels, no rubber whatsoever on it.
That's so awesome.
He looks at me and he asks me if my guys are going to let it go. I didn't know what to tell him. I had no idea. But
I don't know, Pete.
Pete, you're just going to have to wait, buddy. But it's good to see. Like I said, I'd rather have the caliber of cars I have here because honestly, everybody here has a chance of winning. Yep. They really do. In some county fairs you go to, you just don't know what the outcome can be. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. I'm really proud of everything that happened here. I'm proud of all my guys, and everything is coming together, and the guys are working really hard.
I was wondering if we were going to see Davey Chapman. There he is, number 43.
Yeah,
that is a car that you're going to want to watch, Josh. Davey Chapman right there.
Mad dog all night long.
Absolutely,
no
question.
He is all about it. He is foot to the floor the whole night.
It's going to be a
galaxy.
That is a scary car.
Wow, so good.
Yeah. That's gonna ruin somebody's night, and then he's gonna ruin somebody else's night, and somebody else's night, and somebody else's night.
Hey,
there goes Trent. Trent got through.
Bo, when are you gonna allow Imperials back?
Oh, I tell you.
They just got rid of them. This is the first.
Bring them back.
Imperials were great. If there's a car I like more than a clamshell, it's probably I'm a subframer fan. The old school subframers. Before I took this.
Have you met Josh?
Before I took this Derby over, and we used to bring shocker Mopars in here and the subframe.
Hell yeah.
Subframe Imperials. Yep. Nobody had an idea what was going on, and it was such a blast. But it took a little piece of my heart when I had to take these guys, the Imperials, out of this show. But they scare people away.
Do you think so, though?
I do. From a promoter standpoint, I got to listen to the drivers cry. And
do they call them bitch about
scared. They're scared.
Really?
Yeah, they're. And I don't think it's so much they're scared. It's just if they don't have one, they don't want to bring anything else.
That's so ridiculous to me. Because up our way, Imperials run every Derby. And they don't win all the time.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Let's slow down, Josh. Pump the brake on that one.
The guys don't win all the time.
The guys in our area that want to run Imperials are the guys that want to be the only person that has an Imperial, and they're out there against a bunch of 1991 Buick Centuries.
I love going against Caprices and a subframe Imperial, but I don't mind going against other Imperials. That doesn't scare me at all.
Yeah. That's for a few years here, we had the one limited weld show we had was full of subframers. I mean, that's all that was here.
That's awesome.
Unbelievable. We had wagons and subframers.
Hell
yeah. It was just, they were
that's
on
awesome,
each other.
Derby.
Oh yeah.
I would have been in heaven.
But
what won it? Did an Imperial win?
I may be wrong, but I don't think an Imperial won. I think last year maybe in the Pro Mods. I think
Pro Mods Imperials have done very well here.
But that's a whole
all the
Psyopas.
We're not talking apples to apples either.
Yeah, that's a completely different subject.
But really, when you're in a Pro Mod, an Imperial has no benefit. Really, right? I mean,
absolutely.
So it doesn't in a Pro Mod. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, but in these limited weld cars, I mean. You guys are going to see cars bend tonight, and that's what makes the difference. You just try to limit it the best you can. I mean, even the 03 and newers, we were having trouble with them. A lot of guys wanted to switch over to the steel cradles and stuff like that. But and I'm not sure if we even have one here tonight.
So what was your rule here? I'm sorry, I didn't.
I believe they had to keep the aluminum cradle in there. And that really hurt. That hurt the guys that wanted to change them. So in a way, it just took care of that situation. We don't have to deal with them anymore.
Yep.
But I'd love to see it. I really would. I'd love to see those cars. It's great to have a 2003 and newer body coming in.
Definitely.
But it looks good for the sport.
It looks like you're needed. So I think we have to let you go.
My phone's been blowing up.
There's the 01.
Well, at least you got to relax for a few minutes.
The Psyopas don't usually run orange trim on their car.
That's Keystone Orange.
All right, well, I know they need you, but I appreciate you just hanging out here for a little while.
Thanks for having us,
good talking.
Thank you.
We had a great time, and we're looking forward to the post-race show tonight, too.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe we'll see you in the winner's circle, huh?
Yeah, let's hope, man.
All right. I'll be up there,
let's hope
guys.
so.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Bo.
Thanks again. There goes Bo Lockwood. As the rains begin to pick up, look at rains beginning to pick up. The Psyopa's going through. I saw the 501, the pink and black machine, is also here, but I haven't seen it with a stick yet, sitting down at the table. The reigning, defending, and two-time, I believe, Northeast champion, Chuck Bucknam. Welcome to the program. Congratulations again on your win up there at the Northeast Championship at the Brockton Fair.
Thanks again.
How much time did you have between celebrating that win and completing this car? Did you have any free time to yourself to let that win sink in, or was it just wide open now to get the 117 done for here?
Yeah, I basically had one weekend after Brockton to get the car finished. I mean, it was almost done. Just had double check everything and button everything up.
You've run with this limited weld style rule before. You've run at the metal destruction programs up at Cuba, New York. Was it much of a change of pace for you to get acclimated to the rule set that's here at the Keystone Nationals versus what you're acclimated to when you've run in New York before?
Yeah, there's definitely more work to building one of these cars. More stuff you're allowed. Not a lot of stuff. I don't have everything, but I've got what I have, and I'm going to run it.
Just taking a look at what we have here tonight, what do you think of some of the builds?
Oh, they're incredible. I mean, the attention to detail and just the welding skills and just the way they build everything. The rims, the bead locks, just crazy. We can't run anything like that back home, and you show them pictures and they're like, what's that?
Chuck, after you come and run something like this, when you go home, do you prefer to run your old way, the original way you were, or do you prefer this style? Would you wish your home would kind of progress to this style a little bit, or are you happy with how stock it is out your way?
No, I wish they'd step up a little bit. I mean, it'd definitely be nicer to be able to put a cage in a car instead of one bar.
That should be a necessity. Cage, definitely.
I've always said that. It's safety.
Yeah, 100%. Cage shouldn't even be a question ever, in my eyes.
Yeah, that's always been my thought, man. It's safety. It should be the first thing you put in a car.
Not only do you never want to get hurt, but you never want to hurt somebody else, and a cage kind of just protects everybody from that, you know.
Is it your uncle that calls those sissy bars?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I had that.
I used to call them that too for years, but when you start running 80s cars that ain't as strong as 70s cars and 60s cars, you really need a cage. The sides just
Well, imagine
don't
running
hold
today
up.
with no cage. I mean, imagine these cars hitting you with no cage coming across the track. That's scary.
Oh,
That's
with
scary.
these motors and the gears, yeah. Forget it. Somebody would definitely get hurt.
Yes.
You couldn't do it.
What motor's in your car today?
Just a Grop 355.
Nice.
Nothing special.
Just a Grop.
It's better than I got. Better
Yes,
than
it
I
is.
got.
It ain't like some of these other ones, I'll tell you that. There's some serious engines out here today.
Yeah, I can't wait till I win the lottery and I can start affording some of this stuff, because some of the money getting spent is just really unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
Stands are starting to fill up. Only about half hour or so away from inspection closing. How did inspection go for you? Do you have anything to change?
No, I come too far away to push the rules. I pretty much, built to the rules, everything as much as I can. Everything it said it can do, I pretty much did. I mean, I had to cut my door bars. I brought them back too far. I had to cut 6 inches off them, which, not too bad.
Yeah. And in terms of when you watch inspection, the cars going through ahead of you, is there anything that you would have preferred to do that you didn't, that would have gotten through?
Weld.
Yeah, I could have put some motor chains on. This chain, they run through a hole in the front frame. I should have put a chain there and tied it into my cradle. I just ran out of time.
Yeah.
But it is neat, isn't it, Chuck, to go look at the other cars in your heat and see what you didn't do. And it's like, man, I could have thought of that. I should have thought of it. And to think that you don't think of those things, but when you see them, they seem so simple. You know, that's really why I enjoy these shows. Like, man, I wish I thought of that.
Well, that's part of the reason you go, is to walk around and look. And, if you can learn one thing, it's worth the trip.
Absolutely. And when you're with builders and drivers of this caliber, you're learning all day, just nonstop. Every car you look at is like, oh, I like that. I don't like this, don't like that.
Oh yeah, there's so much you could look at. You could just look all day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Literally. I wish I could crawl underneath some of them and really look at them.
Yeah. Well, think about inspectors. Inspectors keep going to the next level, because inspectors see everything, so they get to learn and then learn and then learn. Inspectors really get a good learning at a show like this.
Yeah, and then they get to go home and do it to their cars.
Exactly. Exactly. Sorry, Chris, you had water.
Yeah, I know. It's sinking in. We got bubbles forming on Tent City. We got water everywhere. The rain has really picked up here in the last probably 10 minutes or so.
It's going to be slippery.
Well said.
I'm wondering, do I just stay wet all night, or do I go change my jeans? No, I'll just stay wet all night.
Stay wet and change your clothes for the ride home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best bet.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear this poncho.
Yeah.
I bought one of those. I should probably put it on.
The best 99 cents I've spent all day.
There you go.
Excellent. Just keep getting sucked into watching the cars driving around.
So, I wonder what percentage of cars are in. I can't see back there. Are half the cars pass through, or a quarter of the cars pass through?
Maybe a quarter.
Because we're about an hour. We're half an hour from
closing
inspection. About half of them are through, and the rest got to get through in a half an hour. Okay. You guys better get in line.
And we just saw both of the Sciopa cars heading back to their pit stall. 2 of the Sciopa cars going back to their pit stall just now with a lot of orange all over them. So they've got some hurried work to do. And at least the inspection line isn't wrapped around the corner here the way that it was before.
Earlier,
so maybe they'll be all right. Oh, Sciopa's blew a tire in transport here.
Yeah, I saw that. Bad luck.
That's
on a rainy
rough.
day. Sucks.
Yeah, that's. Of course it would be today that the tire blows.
Oh yeah.
How was your trip in? You guys had about a 6-hour tow, right?
It was more about 9.5.
9? Wow.
We stopped for lunch, and we let the dog out to walk, and we weren't in a hurry. We weren't pushing the speed limits. Don't need any tickets out of state. It's way too expensive.
You don't want to screw around with that, no.
I got pulled over 3 times this week.
Any tickets?
Yeah. No tickets.
That's good.
I'm a salesman.
What were you doing?
I got a DOT checkpoint the other day, taking my derby car to the junkyard at 7 in the morning, and they had about 30 things of my trailer that didn't pass, and somehow they still let me through. They let me go. Then about literally 6 minutes later, I got pulled over right by another state trooper, saying my brake light was out, and he let me go.
Did you tell him I just met your friends?
I just said, I'm like, sir, I literally just got pulled back there, like 2 miles back there, and he let me go. But
run my plate, please, run my plate. And he goes, oh, I will.
When I come back from Penn Yan the other night, I got pulled over. At 1 o'clock in the morning, we got pulled over. And there wasn't a car on the road, you know?
What did you do? How?
I had a brake light out again on my trailer. I guess
what did you do? You left Penn Yan early.
No, I didn't. It was after 10 o'clock.
Was it?
Yeah, the heats didn't get done until after 10. I left at about 10:20.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was late.
I don't. You're out of your mind.
No.
10 o'clock.
What? Gilmartin was there.
They didn't get over with at 10 o'clock.
It was. When they got the car off.
That show had no delays. It was 75 and sunny the whole time.
What show
were you at? There was no poor weather. There was more cars than you know what to do with.
What show were you at? What show were you at?
And every car next summer needs to come to it.
Yes, I'll agree with that. Actually, I'll say Penn Yan, I had a great time. Wasn't a lot of cars there, but every driver was awesome, and they were all good. You know, I like Derby and the Derbies where everyone's having a good time, and that was one of them. Like, I just had a good time with everybody. Everyone's shaking hands, having a good time, and then we just went junk stuff, shaked hands, and went home. You know, that's my kind of Derby.
Mission accomplished, and Scott Kiefer was okay.
Exactly, which was scary.
That was the big thing. It was. Did I show you the screen grabs yet? No. I got to show you some of those. How high the back end of that Cordoba got in the air. It was wild. There was a lot of debate. I was in a conversation with some folks out in California who were talking about the necessity of a roof bar on Scott's car, and I completely disagree. I think that not having a roof bar probably saved that dude's life because of the way the roof peeled away. It peeled away from the driver.
The roof bar would have jammed him right into the steering wheel.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
I mean, if it broke off, it would have mouse-trapped him. It would have stopped the Cordoba anyway. It would have dropped the Cordoba right down on top of him. I mean, there's so many things that could have gone wrong if that halo bar was on there. And I'm not diminishing the value of a halo bar and the importance of it and safety, and there's absolutely 100% a place for it in Demolition Derby. I just think to flatly say that a halo bar would have made that wreck not happen. I think that's a little short-sighted.
No,
you got to look at the big picture. That could have killed that dude. Absolutely could have killed that dude.
The tough thing is a lot of these guys are putting halo bars not at a derby like this today. But
like here's something that has not come up in conversation at all on the situation with Scott Kiefer in the 7K. They had the roof peeled off of his car at Penn Yan. The guys that had no post cars, hardtop cars, had the option of welding a post in, and he didn't.
Sure. He
didn't even do that. I mean, that could have, when that roof peeled off, that could have come right across the back of his neck or the side of his head, too.
I agree.
You know?
There was a lot of negatives with that one. It just was dumb luck, I think. But
freak accident,
yeah,
absolutely.
I think so. I mean, how many times we watch derbies and guys climb on and actually his car was very low, but I mean, you see.
But he was also up on a barrier.
Right. It was just dumb luck.
And when was the last time you saw a Cadillac bend the way that it did on the left rear corner and turn that thing into a perfect ramp?
Yeah.
But the thing is again, talking about the blessings in disguise, the left rear corner flattening out pitched the Cordoba to the right, which put him away from the driver.
Right.
You know, small things. Here comes the Anarchy car. It's a nice automobile right there.
Yeah, this thing
here, take a listen to this when it goes by.
Yeah, this thing is nasty. Yeah, that car looks nasty. There's some nasty motors here. Nasty motors.
Dane Clark in the Anarchy car. I'm not sure what number he registered in the draw. And did he have Anarchy? Because that's no secret. I don't even remember, and I did the draw.
I'm cold.
Yeah, we're getting right up to the limit of what we can do before we got to shut all this stuff down and let the track announcer, Steve Bucknam, SB Motorsports announcing. He's got to entertain the crowd. He's got a lot of work to do, but and the nice part about this weekend is he doesn't have to worry about anything else other than announcing. He is just the announcer tonight, so he's got a nice easy night in front of him. He's got his iPad, got a fun playlist, and he's going to keep you entertained. Chuck, I appreciate you coming out. Wish you the best of luck out there. I appreciate you coming on the show and chatting with us for a little while. And
good luck, buddy.
Once again,
congratulations on that win in the Northeast Championship here a couple weeks ago.
Hey, we didn't even ask him, how does he spend that money? How did you spend that money? What'd you buy? A couple Imperials? What'd you buy?
I just bought a set of curb kickers over there.
There you go. There you go.
I ruined one, so I had to get a new set.
Definitely. Good investment.
At least we know that your money was spent on good things, right?
Yeah, right.
Thanks again, Chuck. It was good seeing you again. Glad you could make the tow down. And that pretty much is going to do it for us as well. We appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. Hard to gauge what we're going to have in terms of that post-race show. Honestly, I don't really know when we're going to be able to start that. Game plan was somewhere between 10, 11 o'clock. I'm not even going to venture a guess at what it might turn into.
No.
Rain again beginning to pick up here at the Keystone Nationals, Jefferson County Fair, Brookville, Pennsylvania. Josh, good luck.
Thank you.
Wish you the best out there.
Super excited.
You are going to need it.
You think I'll get ganged on?
You are going to, Josh. We've talked about this. Every time out, you are going to get ganged on. Now that's pretty much the way of the world for you here on out.
I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to take a beating like a man.
You just gotta grin and bear it, dude. That's gonna do it for us. We appreciate you hanging out with us. That's it for the Crash Course Podcast. We'll see you post race show coming up a little bit later on tonight. Thanks, guys.